This is how Western civilizations fail. Whenever we, as a people, as a society, as a government body, restrict people from practicing their religion, like what is happening to us in Harrison County, Texas, right now, it's sad, it's aggravating, and I'm fortunate enough that we have a very strong core group of people that come out here. Because if we are in a country where we cannot gather to pray and meditate together, accept everybody non-judgmentally in whatever belief system they have, and have a couple of core religious values that we subscribe to, such as we have our cows here out in the field that we eat every Sunday, and part of our practice is we want them to be happy. We want that energy to be good. We want to be conscious of our food, the energy that we put into our bodies. And I encourage everybody that comes out here, all of y'all have heard me say it, and all of you regulars who happen not to be here today, the energy that we put into our food, we get it back. We don't want tortured cows that we eat from some fast food joint, that energy that we've all done going into our bodies. So we do the best we can to practice, hey, let's be aware of what's happening to all life on the planet, and let's just be good stewards of the land. Let's be good stewards of each other. Let's do our best to connect to each other and be true friends and fellowship together. Go into nature here. And most churches are way different than us in that they either have one person or a group of people that donate some money so they can build a facility. That did not happen here. This place started off as a family retreat. We wanted a place to come and just my family. That was it. And we wanted to grow food. We wanted good, clean, wholesome food. And I knew nothing about growing food. And so I wanted to learn. So I traveled the world, went and figured it out, and we did that, and I fell in love with the divine blueprint of God. It was amazing to me that everything, in its smallest form, already knew what it was going to be. You know, like that little apple seed is not going to grow up and be a chicken. You know, you put the chicken egg in the incubator, and it's not going to grow into a peach tree. You know, that fascinated me. It was an insight into how awesome the universe, the infinite intelligence God is. Like, I just thought it was amazing. And it really made me become more conscious of how we are not connected to the land, to Mother Nature, and how almost nobody goes and takes walks through the thick woods, appreciates what we have. But in doing that, people wanted to start buying our food, and we did that. And we have a beautiful sanctuary building. And we started doing weddings and that sort of thing. But I got tired of it. I was down and out. I just felt, I was just depressed, and I stopped it. I started having friends come over on Sundays. We used to call them documentary Sundays. So that's what we did. We used to hang out, and we'd philosophize about what it means to be human, what it means to be connected to God, what it means to, just all of it. And we'd go lay out in the fields, we'd take nature walks, we'd just get immersed with enjoying every moment of life and in good fellowship with friends. And then people just started coming on Sundays. And we've had a couple of hundred people stroll through the years, and right after that, when it started to become a serious thing, because this goes into everybody watching, because this is how, this is where persecution comes in, is I thought, well, maybe I should open this whole place up to the public. Maybe I should make this, it shouldn't just be me and a couple of friends, 5 or 6 friends every Sunday. And so I got with my attorney and asked him, I said, okay, I'm thinking about making this a formal church. How do I do that, and what are the implications? I said, but I don't want to put my personal home in that mix. I want my home to be separate and have all of this, the nature places, the orchards, the game room, all of it, the sanctuaries, everything open to whoever it resonates with what we do out here to come and utilize it. And so it was a big sacrifice. Because Texas law says if, as soon as we became a 501c3 nonprofit, you have to, if you're a religious organization, in order to be your property tax exempt. And that was a big deal for us because now the property no longer was creating any income. It was for and solely for what we do here as the mystics. And it's called, our nickname is the Mystics of Texas because I believe that life is mystical, it's magical, it's beautiful. And we can make even more beauty together. And that's what I wanted to do. That's what I am doing. And some people think that's crazy, and I don't. I wanted a place and have a place where everybody comes, where we do our best not to judge anybody. We have people from every single background here today. Every person is vastly different. And there's no judgment, there's no, oh, you're way different than me, oh, your hair's too long, your hair's too short, you make too much money, you make too less money. There's none of that here. But in doing that, there's a stipulation that had to be in our church bylaws that when my family, we donated this land to the Universal Spiritual Life Church, Mystics of Texas. When we did that, we no longer have the right to sell it. It has to go, if the church dissolves, it has to go to another nonprofit. So all the money that we spend out here, which you can tell is a lot, nothing out here is cheap. We lost the ability to recoup that money on purpose. I did that on purpose. And in order to do that, I did what was legally all right, because as every church does, because they can't operate because they don't make any money. And I knew we were going to be property tax exempt. Well, our property taxes are over $30,000 a year. Well, that prevents us from doing a lot of stuff if we wanted to do that. Continuing building our education, our religious outreach, our videos, the editing, having all different things, all the food. All of this, a lot. It costs about $20,000 every month just to run this place. And I don't ask anybody for any money. I've never asked for any help in 7 years. I'm not asking for any help now. But our government, our local government says, well, let me just tell you the story. Because me and my attorney went to go see them. We went to see the tax office and let them know what we were doing. But they already knew. For some reason, they already knew. And he said, well, his name is Robert Lissman. He was the first chief appraiser. Smug guy. He said, it doesn't even matter what y'all do out there. Y'all are out there, you're a religious organization, that's clear. I cannot deny you, is what he said. I cannot deny you, even if you were worshiping snakes, which of course was a stab that we were way different. And so, me and my attorney, we know we're getting approved because he just said it. And he told us, he goes, I got to approve you. A little over a week later, he sends me a letter, a one-line letter. You are denied. My attorney calls him, says, why? And they said, some girl was out here. She left me a message and she was offended. So I'm not granting your exemption because of that. So I don't know about y'all, but have y'all ever left a church? Like if you didn't like it, it didn't resonate with you, you just changed churches? The pastor or preacher, whatever, offended you somehow, or you didn't like some of the people, or what, and you just left. Those churches, which is every one of them, they didn't lose their tax exempt status, but we were denied ours on a false accusation because nobody came out here and left him a message about that. They have no proof of it. It's not in discovery because we've already gone through that. They just outright lied, is what they did. So, of course, we have to go to an appeal hearing, and that guy retires. There's another guy, Mark Alexander. He is the second chief. And before he was the chief, he had came out here before, and he was peeping like this. When you peep into somebody's window, he was peeping into the houses up here one morning and tried to get in the front door. Well, the same guy that's over there trying to find our water leak right now was him and a couple of other guys and he didn't see them, were way over there, and they called me. They said, Kevin, somebody's over here trying to get in this house. They're peeping around. There's a couple of them peeping in. And so, of course, I rushed over there. I didn't know who the guy was. And I said, what are you doing? I didn't know if I didn't know if I was being threatened. I didn't know if you were a burglar. I didn't know. I had no clue. Of course, I was ready for it. I mean, I do have 2 black belts, and I have no problem using that in self-defense. And he said, we're from the Harrison County Central Appraisal District. I said, what gives you the right, or what law is it? That's what I said specifically. What law is it that gives you the right to peep into our windows and try to go into our house? He said, Texas state law. And I said, well, I want to know that specific law. Can you tell me what that is? He said, no, it's Texas state law. I said, well, until you can tell me, I think you need to go ahead and haul your booty off this property before you have a problem. And so he did. I was assuming that he would call the sheriff because I was a little forceful with him, aggressive in tone, because I was pretty offended some creep would be doing that. Consequently, that same guy had all sorts of accusations and charges from other women inside of the tax office where he was sexual harassment and all sorts of things. He had a lawsuit against him for arbitrarily filing or raising people's taxes all over the place. He was, they said he volunteered his resignation, but no, that's not what happened. So this guy, at the appeal hearing, because we had to appeal being denied, in that appeal, they said, we're going to need to do a site inspection and go out and make sure you're doing what you're doing. So me and Ricky, sitting over here, we drove this guy around in the golf carts. We went out and showed him where we walked in nature, how we do our big annual pruning, and how we do all of our, just all the stuff that we do, which is so different every Sunday. It's just way different every Sunday. Like today is way different. And we showed him this room, the main sanctuary, where we meditate and and all the stuff. And he said, that's great. So me and Ricky are standing right over here. We're right in front of the main sanctuary. And he said, well, y'all are doing what you say you're doing. And I asked him, I said, well, great, what's next? He said, well, you're just going to have to take us to court until you go broke. Yeah, that's what he said. In front of witnesses. Not only other county staff members, but also in front of one of our guys here. It was an amazing thing. Ricky had this big shocked look on his face, and I did too, and I just couldn't believe this guy said that. It's like, wow. So recently we were able to get the audio recordings of the hearing where we were at, but then we got the audio recordings of that chief appraiser, Mark Alexander, where he was talking to the board members. And he is responsible for giving them the information they need to make a decision. One of the things he says was, well, I didn't see where they had anything religious anywhere, but of course we have Buddhas all over the place. And he said, we can't figure out how they're surviving. We don't know how they're making money or how they're getting money to continue operations. So that's real strange. And when I was listening to that, I was thinking, there's nowhere in the law that says you deny somebody their rights because you're wondering as a government how they're surviving. Like, that's not a prerequisite. That's not how it works. There was a bunch of other things that he said. He also said, well, I think he got some money from his mom because his mom died. Well, my mom didn't die, and my mom is still alive and well. So just making up stuff in this hearing, and that was pretty amazing to me to listen to. And it was the epitome of government abuse, government overreach, and I had, as y'all know, most of y'all know me well, I've been relatively stressed out the past several weeks because I've been in depositions over this matter. And I would like to read y'all the law. This is what happens. This is Texas tax code. And if we're a religious organization, which we are, federally and in the state, the county does not give us our rights. As long as we're doing religious worship It means an individual or a group ceremony or meditation, education, and fellowship, the purpose of which is to manifest or develop reverence, homage, and commitment in behalf of a religious faith. Well, we definitely meet all those and some more. And there's, so the new guy, because the second guy retired, this new fella, we were deposing him on Friday. My attorney asked him, these people, these strange people, he didn't say strange, but that's what they were inferring. These people, is it a religious, do you recognize that they refer to as the church? Do you recognize that the church has a part of their worship is to show gratitude to their animals because they partake in those animals to their bodies every Sunday? Do you recognize that? And he said, yeah, I recognize that as their religious practice. He said, so then you also recognize that they need land for their animals. The Department of Agriculture suggests between 3 and 5 acres per cow. And if you want them to be really happy, which is what we want, super happy cows, we want a little bit more. And he said, even though he said he recognizes that as our religious practice, we do not have the ability to do that, because he says, no, I don't recognize that they need extra land for their animals. Cows can have a pen. Well, that defeats our religious purpose. And their attorneys at the end of this thing, as we were bringing up, there are quite a few churches in Harrison County that have substantial land, especially for the footprint of their buildings. I mean, like, significant. A tiny church about the size of this one room here has like 18 acres. They don't use it, but they're tax exempt. There's another big one in Marshall. They're cowboy churches, and there are over 400 cowboy churches, all of them. And when asked, he said, my attorney asked the new chief, Mr. Flowers, in all of your 30 plus years of being a tax appraiser and a chief, have you ever gone through a church or religious organization's financials? Have you gone and done several site inspections? Have you been in a court fight with other religious organizations? Done all of the things that they've been doing to us, dragging it? And he said, no, nothing even close. It's never happened in his 30 plus years. Never. We're the first. We're the only. And when that kind of stuff starts happening, you can go ahead and kiss the rest of your freedoms goodbye too. And for all of the churches and religious groups in Texas, and that includes mostly Christian, but Hindu, any other ones, whatever, synagogues, whatever, you're all under direct threat. It's dangerous. And it has caused significant harm. And he said it didn't matter if he didn't believe that it caused us harm, but this is the first. That is really what has been happening to us. And just for an example, just the past few days in legal fees of those depositions was $15,000. And it's cost well over $100,000 so far fighting them legally. It's going to cost me another several $100,000 in fighting them. And then you get to a point where you say, well, I can't, as a director of the Mystics, do I spend more on advertising and pushing our weekly videos and our events like we're supposed to? We had like 40-something people coming last night, but we had this big problem with our water, so we had to cancel it. But we have these type of things pretty regularly out here, especially now that fall and during the winter and spring. And do you do those? Or you have to cut back on those because you gotta have dry powder for your attorneys. It's a quagmire. It's a big problem. And throughout this whole process, it has shown to me on a personal level, like, who are my friends? Who are the people that really believe in what we're doing? Bringing people together, helping each other emotionally, even helping each other financially, which I have done personally to a lot of people that have came out here. To do that, to have the freedom to do that, is under direct threat. So I wanted everybody to know exactly what was happening. They did tell us what I was about to say at the end. Their attorneys told our attorney that, well, we're going to file this motion that's going to prevent you from raising the issue of religious discrimination and religious persecution. And they filed protective orders against us for deposing or getting the other two chief appraisers to testify under oath. They filed a protective order to keep them safe so they didn't have to say what they've done. And that's all a travesty. I don't know where it goes, but I know that y'all's commitment to coming out, all of our regulars, it means more now than it ever has, because now we're at a very pivotal point of a big fight. And without y'all's continued support, well, it wouldn't give me the inner strength to continue. And I forget which one of y'all told me, but one of y'all recently said to me, because I was irritated one Sunday when I let a couple of people close to me. I was like, man, I really would like y'all here. This is a good presentation, and I'd like to tell you what's going on with our legal fight. And they just stopped coming. And they said to me, well, you know who your real friends are, and people that really believe in what you're doing, and bringing people together in a non-judgmental way and allowing people to worship their faith outside of what we believe here in their own way, without judgment, without anything but love. Just, hey, let's be loving together. Let's support each other. Let's help each other be wise and emotionally stable. Let's connect to God the best way we know how. Let's go meditate outside. Let's take meditative walks. Let's go commune in nature and have this place continue to be open up to everybody. Because this place is unique. I know of no other place anywhere within a 6-hour drive of here that allows anybody that resonates with what we do to come out and use it whenever they want, to come have picnics, to come fellowship, to come bring your friends and use this place to connect to nature, to connect to God in your own way. I don't know of any. And it would be really sad for this country. It would be sad for us individually. And it would be sad for me personally after 7 years of all this hard work. Because there has not been one single Sunday, not one, in 7 years that we haven't done this. Not one. It's meant a lot to me. And so if y'all find this disturbing, as I do, because it affects everybody. It affects you even if you're atheist, because they'll tell you what you need to believe too. So with that, thank y'all. I love y'all. And I'm glad we have all of y'all watching, because we have a pretty substantial viewership, and I appreciate it. So with that, see you later.